just arriving at the cemetery where the funeral will take place. We've been filming the coffin of Chokri Belaid as it's borne aloft on top of a military Humvee surrounded by soldiers. Tens of thousands of people turning out, a real crush to get to pay their last respects. His wife sitting on top of that vehicle, accompanying her husband to the grave. Now, as we're arriving at the cemetery, again, thousands more people streaming from the streets towards the cemetery. So it's going to be a huge, huge turnout. And we're also getting reports of people gathering again in central downtown Tunis, where there have been clashes for the past 2 days near the Ministry of the Interior. No reports of violence yet, but clearly that's going to be a concern this afternoon.
Yeah, that is a concern. You mentioned that there is a security presence there. Can you tell us in more detail just what kind of police and military presence is there at this funeral?
I mean, he's been given, what's been termed a national funeral. So it's kind of been partly co-organised by the army. An army helicopter has been circling overhead. The army has been trying to push the crowds back to allow the cortege to pass through. But there are so many people gathered around. And the army also on the streets in central Tunis as well. Well-defended positions with razor wire and armoured personnel carriers and jeeps and so on. So that certainly seems to be a slight sort of heavier presence than we saw yesterday and the day before. I think they're mindful that, they're trying to stop any further clashes. But the problem is clearly that when these crowds amass, there are thousands of them, and it's very difficult to do that without them firing tear gas and it descending into violence.
And we're looking at live pictures from Tunis of the crowds there at the funeral of the slain opposition leader, Chokri Belaid. And Dan, what is the status of the police investigation? Who killed Belaid?
Well, there's lots of accusations, and one video has appeared on YouTube, apparently posted by some extremists that CNN has not been able to independently verify, but claiming it looks like it was posted before he was killed, but calling for his assassination. A lot of people here at this funeral are very clear in who they blame. They firmly say the government is responsible, not saying that Ennahda, the ruling Islamist party, actually carried out this killing, but more that they presided over a climate of violence and a security vacuum, despite repeated warnings that something like this could happen, even from Chokri Belaid himself this week, who said that the government had given a green light to political violence. 2 days later, he was shot dead outside his home.